Times carried a little article that there was an urban forestry grant available for citizens groups, and so I talked to a few people and we went ahead with it. And the purpose of this grant is that I've been going to a number of conferences where Native Americans are part of both the planning stages and participants, and what I'm hearing is that conservation alone cannot be. It isn't hands-off, but it's the quality of parks and forest is what we need. And that was from Richard Martinez, who has for 20 years, he lives in Oregon, worked with the Canadian government and the United States government in restoring understories in the forests. And he mentioned to go to China Camp State Park, which is over just north of San Rafael. That area, there's been a lot of restoration, a lot of care in that particular park, and that it's the most similar to what the Bay Area was back in the times of the natives. And the other comment that I particularly, what appealed to me was Malcolm Margolin last year when he spoke and did a storytelling session for Friends of Albany Hill, that he mentioned that the California natives were gardeners and diggers, and that the California landscape that we sometimes romanticize just didn't happen. It was cared for. And it was well tended and planned with mosaics of fire and also hand cleanups. And that California wouldn't be burning up the way it is now if we were taking care of the debris and the land. And so it's really being talked about quite a bit, and we had a number of arson fires on the hill last summer and fall. And so part of the grant is for tree care. So we're going to be pulling ivy and other kinds of things from the trees. And we're also going to be doing fire debris removal from the ladders of the eucalyptus. And probably we will do a quarter a year. That's kind of just a projected thought of how much we can get done. And I think that if we did that on a rotating basis, we could keep things fairly in hand. And I'm also hoping that the urban foresters, the people that volunteer, would keep this up after the grant's over, that we might become similar to an adopted park program. And also, I think there's a real need in this community to have organized outdoor activities where families can work together. We have two different families working that are called to volunteer, where both parents and the children are going to work side by side. And we also, of course, have a lot of people who are just going to do it. But I just think that sometimes people are afraid to send their children to parks by themselves, but if you have something organized where they can come and they know someone's going to be there, I just think there's a real need for it. And so we'd like to fulfill, or at least get that particular need going in the community.
We'd like to acknowledge and honor some of the longtime supporters of Albany Hill, most of whom are not here, but we'll acknowledge them and thank them anyway. One is here, Dario Meniketti, Bruce Thompson, Blanche Branna, I'm sorry, she's deceased, Burl Hartman, Robert Elliott, Catherine Webb, who is also not here, Velma Rubin, Louis Bell, Robert Sharp, and Jeremiah Lee. Even though they're not here, they must know that we appreciate all of their efforts on behalf of the Hill, and we do have one presentation to the one person who's here, Dario.
So I'd like to, Mayor Brodsky, your representative.
Dario. We've got a beautiful photograph of the little trail snaking up Albany Hill. Went to want to present to you, Dario, to commemorate your role in making it possible to preserve this beautiful bit of open space. On behalf of the citizens of Albany. You want to say a few words, Dario? Come on. You're not getting away that easy.
I didn't come prepared for this, really. I tried to find the whereabouts of all the others, and I did except for one. But I don't know why they're not here. They really worked hard. It took 13 years of having to keep my mouth shut because this case, this suit went to the highest court in the land, and finally the federal court said, we'll let the California decision stand. But there was a lot of patience and a lot of work to help our lawyers, and I'm glad it came out the way it did. Thank you very much.
So Dario, who put in the trails? Who put in that old trail?
Well, I know I worked 2 times on that as a Boy Scout leader. I brought the boys there, and a couple of the scouts maybe had their Eagle project, clearing this trail every now and then because the shrubbery really crowded it out. And but I think the city did it first.